What is up? It is your Allies Behind Enemy Lines on Monday, October 5th. We are your Allies Behind Enemy Lines. Find us on Apple, iTunes. Like, rate, subscribe, review. If you're watching us here on YouTube and you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscription button. Ring the bell so you're updated every Monday and Friday, pre-show, post-show, things like that. Just keep updated with us. Follow us on Twitter. It's at ABL, Allies BEL. Sorry, it's right below. You should see it right here. I should know it, but you should also see it right below here if you are watching. Find us on Facebook, the same link. We haven't plugged that quite a bit, but yeah, follow us on Twitter and Facebook. You can hit us up on there. Joey, I'll tell you what, these colors, they ain't looking so bright. This air, it ain't so crisp. And food is just tasting bland. We are not celebrating, but we are in mourning of yet another loss on Sunday. All things considered, man, how you doing? Yeah, let's let me know how you're doing. We'll get into this game real quick.
I'm doing all right. It is Monday, and like you said, it's that feeling we get on the oh so familiar of a losing Monday that we as Washington/Redskin fans have felt over the last couple decades. So it's a very familiar feeling, and it's I was talking to a buddy of mine, and it's just like who's a Giants fan, and he's like, it's like, if you're an NFC East team fan, you cannot go out there and talk about how your team is good, because none of us are good, and you just like, and we have these small little nuggets that we can get sometimes when we actually do something right, but we always go into our games. I don't know about you, but we always go into this expecting to lose. I just do not. It's just a surprise when we win now, which it should never be a surprise that we win. It's just an expectation of loss and failure when it comes to our team, because loss is failure. It's a very simple system. And, they don't get second place trophies here in the NFL. So if you're losing, you're failing. And right now we are a failure.
No, can't agree more. I was talking with somebody earlier. We were talking about the Cowboys game. He's like, the Cowboys are clearly the best team in the NFC East. I said, are they? They have a great offense, yes.
Offensively speaking, easily, yeah.
Right, but you can't say the best team, and you definitely can't say clearly. I would put up our defense obviously went 100% healthy against anybody in the division. The Eagles, the stupid bleeping Eagles. We set it off before we started recording. I don't know if we can say it on YouTube. They're always good for the stupid fucking Eagles. I don't know. I'm still learning the rules of YouTube and things like that. Yeah. But they're always good for exactly what they did last night. So you can't really say that there's clearly a best team in the NFC East, because there isn't one. But yeah, we are failing right now. Yesterday's game, we did go in there expecting to lose. So I think rightfully so. Obviously the Ravens have been one of the best regular season teams in the NFL the last couple of years. So it was kind of like just how bad was it going to be? And at first it looked like it wasn't going to be too bad. The one thing that I'm real proud of our defense is, for the exception of the Lamar run, which he's prone to do. It just happened to be the longest run of his NFL career so far against us, of course. And we talked about how he's not a prolific passer, but two things I'm happy about as far as our defense goes. We didn't allow the big shot down the field to Marquise Brown or anything like that. There weren't. He had a 33-yard catch. There was a 25-yard touchdown catch by Mark Andrews. But I'm talking like, the field flipping kind of play. So yeah, 33 yard pass is, that's pretty long. But it was a catch and a run. It wasn't like, like an Eagles Jalen Reagor getting behind the defense. So that was the first thing I was proud of. The second thing I was proud of as far as our defense, and we won't get into it too much. We intercepted RG3. That's all.
RG Thrizzle. He came out there. It was funny as I talked about it a little bit. Remember, what if RG Thrizzle finds his way on this field at some point, which he did, and
he thought he was still on our team. He threw it right to us. He thought he was still. He had a little flashback. He's like, "Oh yeah, I see him. He's open." And
is that Clinton Portis out there? Oh wait a second. No, that's that's Kendall Fuller.
Yep.
Oh man, that was like you said, there was some. I hate taking positives out of something like this because I just feel so down on what we do and what we should continue to shoot ourselves in the foot. But as you said, we came out. Our plan was to come out fast and good on our first drive. We did. Second drive, we got the McKissick fumble, which really changed our field position game. We were kind of playing with them back and forth, and then, as you said, obviously the Lamar run really put us behind the 8 ball there. But you know, as far as the defense is concerned, I think that we our secondary, like you said, is definitely playing better. I mean, we did not see Troy Apke out there. I don't think we saw him do anything really bad yesterday, to tell you the truth. I mean, he might. I don't think that the Kevin Pierre-Louis on the coverage to Mark Andrews on the deep ball, I think that was his bad versus Troy Apke. I think Troy Apke was support there, but he was more towards the middle of the field. Now was more towards that more free safety side of the field, or their right side. But pass rush was there. Got a couple sacks there. Again, I think we could have done better as far as stopping the smaller runs. And it's just disheartening to see this team, and it goes back to just I want to think about the philosophy or the game plan it feels like Ron Rivera didn't think we could win that game. And from the very beginning, I think the way he coached that game, the way he called that game, all the way through was like he did not think we could win that game, and he kept putting us in positions. I mean towards the end of the game, that fourth, anyone knows when you're down 3 scores, you take the points.
Yeah.
You take the points when you're down 3 scores. You give yourselves a chance to compete. Put it this way. We took those points. RG3 probably still would have came on the next drive, which like he did. And we get that interception right there. And for some reason, it's a pick six. We're only down 1 score in a matter of seconds. You know what I mean? Like, you don't, and who knows what that does to the defense. I know myself how I feel, playing Madden or playing anything competitive when I know it's almost impossible for me to come back. It's like I'll still go through the motions and I'm still going to give you my effort, but is it my best effort? Like if I'm competing to win, And I think, you can tell when when a teacher gives you a curve on a test, or when your coach is not setting you, that they don't have faith in you. So you can feel when your coach doesn't have faith in you. And I feel a lot of the Washington football team right now might feel that their coach doesn't have faith in them, and I just hate that to deter the way they've been playing. Because like you said, I feel so many players out there, and even Dwayne Haskins, even though he's not, getting the results that we want. He's still going out there and competing, trying to give his best and do his best on the field. And I don't want that spirit, that spirit you can't teach. And I want that spirit to die because they feel they're not believed in, or no one's expecting anything from them. So that's my only concern, I guess big picture concern walking away from this game. I feel like Dwayne Haskins did, he did improve. He played better, but again, is better what we want from him, or is we want elite, or do we want, steps in the right direction? Is it fast enough? He did play better. He didn't make the mistakes we've talked about, but is it enough to be able to compete with some of these teams?
Well, see, I'll start with that point there, and then kind of work backwards to what you're talking about with Ron Rivera. Dwayne Haskins did play better. He did play much, much better. He didn't turn the ball over. Threw the ball 45 times. He's throwing the ball a lot. And I think, the majority of that is because we're always down. And so we got to come back. That's fine. I understand that. But he is playing better. Again, like you said, is it fast enough? I guess that's up for interpretation. We knew this was a rebuild, right? We knew this was a rebuild. Everyone's always down for a rebuild until it's time to rebuild. And until it's time to play the games. It's like you still want to win. We go in expecting to lose because we know we've been trained as fans. We go in there expecting to lose, but we still want to win. But it's like you got to take a step back and be like, look, we want to see some improvement. We want to see this team doing well in different facets. And that kind of rolls into what you were saying about the way Ron Rivera was coaching, because I agree wholeheartedly with what you said. It was almost like he was coaching like a scrimmage. Like, let's work on some things. Let's see what we can do, things like that. It wasn't like he was trying to go out there and score the ball, move the ball down the field, in big chunks or whatever it was. They had a game plan. They were going to stick to it, and they were going to keep it going, kind of no matter what the score what the score was, no matter what happened. And when we get down to that 4th down, again, it's kind of like, okay, let's see what we got here, and not a smart NFL decision of let's take the points. It's like, all right, let's see what we got here. Let's see if this is something we can execute. If this is a situation that if we run into down the road, we know we're confident in running live action, not just against each other. So, that's right. That part's tough. There's, I can't say that was the case for sure, but that's just what it seemed like to me watching the game, was that's kind of what he was doing. So again, yes, Dwayne Haskins, he played better. He definitely played better than last week. I think this was probably one of his better games so far this season. Of the 4, this was probably his best, I would say. Just the way he looked out there, the confidence he was slinging it around. the more and more we get Terry McLaurin involved, the better this team is going to be. And I just hope that either Dwayne Haskins finds it and turns into the quarterback that we think he can, or we find somebody for Terry, because he is so good. I don't want to see his career wasted with just a rotation of quarterbacks, over and over and over again, kind of like a Larry Fitzgerald type.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins, another guy in Cardinals red right now. But yeah, that's 100% correct. So that was steps in the right direction. And again, how many steps was it? Was it 2-3 steps? When we're looking for 10 steps, that's up for interpretation. But I was okay and happy with the way he played. Obviously, the outcome of the game, the score in the game doesn't quite dictate that, but it is what it is. As far as Antonio Gibson, they definitely involved him in the game a lot more. 13 rushes for 46 yards. He got his first rushing touchdown, but in the passing game as well. I mean, we've been talking about since the first of the season, get him the ball in open space and let him cook. That's exactly what he did. He, took the ball for he had the 40-yard catch and run, and had 4 catches for 82 yards on the day. So great there. Dontrell Inman had a couple big catches down the stretch, but that tight end play still lacking a little bit. We thought we saw something working with Logan Thomas week 1. Really hasn't gone back to that quite yet. So what we were expecting week 2 a little bit, but not quite as much. I mean, I'm looking at here. Dwayne Haskins completed a pass to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different targets. So that's again very good, spreading the ball around. And Terry McLaurin had 10 receptions. He caught 10 of the 32 balls that Dwayne Haskins completed. So and just to be able to still spread it around to 7 different guys, I think that means he's seen the field pretty well, and things like that. But again, kind of expected, hoping for the best, expecting the worst. I don't think we got the worst, but we didn't get very good either.
Yeah, we I just go through these these emotions with Haskins and with the team. It's like, oh, they're good, they just need this or they need that. And Antonio Gibson, it's funny as you were talking about him, and as I've thought about him, from first drafting him to training camp, which obviously we didn't get to see a lot of that in preseason without that being a thing this year. But for the picture in my mind of him, it seems like he gets bigger every week to me. It seems like he's like getting big or runs bigger, or maybe it's just confidence or something. For some reason, I had him as pegged as a small little guy, almost like a Chris Thompson, Bryce Love type, coming out of college. And then I think it was you that told me like week 1 how big he was. Like he was 220 or something. I was like, he's that big? I think he was like a 180 guy. And then seeing him in the first game, he didn't look that big. But yesterday, just watching him run, and especially on the one where he almost broke free when that safety had caught the angle on him, he takes those huge long strides too when he gets out that he's got that breakaway speed. He's got the power. He is a total package back we have right now, and we have not had in a long time is someone that can catch the ball like that and run as hard as he can on a consistent basis. So I'm really excited about that. We definitely have played some teams with better running defense, obviously with the Ravens yesterday, but I think he's going to continue to get better as the season goes on. I think that as long as he stays healthy and as long as they continue to trust him with the ball and can feed him the ball, we're just going to see growth, exponentially out of him. So that is, is a vote of confidence as far as the running back, which has been a hard position for us for years to try to get somebody in there for. Obviously the bridge gap of Adrian Peterson did well for a while, but when you talk about the wide receivers as well, I mean Terry McLaurin, he is, like you said, he is amazing. He is definitely does not get the respect that he deserves NFL wide. I think we all know the kind of player he is, and the way he gets, and as a defender, they know that's that we're going to. Obviously, he got how many passes and how many he caught, so he's still finding a way to get open and make plays. Now, when we think about our division right now, I think a lot of it, and I've thought about it after I talked last time, just a few minutes ago, in our perceptions of our team, like a lot of us want to go through the rebuild, but when it's time to rebuild, we don't want to do it. And I think that changes with circumstances. Right now, if we were 1-3, and the Cowboys were say 3-1, the Giants were 2-2, and the Eagles were 4-0, I think we might be pretty happy with where we are as far as progressing right now. But since we're in a division where it looks like we can possibly be in first place, we're wanting to compete. That part of us is like, hey, we're in it. We just got to win this game, and we're in it. So that part of us is taking away from the patience of this rebuild, is because we see the opportunity that the rest of the division is presenting us right now, and we all might be getting better together. Next year we all might be 4-0, and then we're in a tough division all of a sudden. So that again, the circumstances is what's kind of getting us to be impatient with our rebuild process, which I agree with. If you have a chance to have guys in the field that are, there's guys in the field that are playing good enough to win right now. A lot of them. At a lot of positions. And they deserve that recognition. And as a coach and as a leader, Ron Rivera is recognizing that. And if he sees his team in a situation where someone might give them a better chance to win for those players that are, I think he's going to take that, especially with the rest of the division being the way it is. Now, does it happen? I think watching that Rams game yesterday, not to get too far into our next week preview, watching how they handled the Giants yesterday and what the Giants were able to do to that defense, a defense that has Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey on it, that is very, it inspires some confidence into what Dwayne Haskins might be able to do next week against that defense, which I think could definitely be the step we wanted him to take, is to win a game like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's very well put. I couldn't echo that anymore. But yeah, you're right too about it being, like the division's like right here. We're so close, and we've also seen the potential. I think the worst thing that could have happened maybe was winning week 1, because it set us up, and the way we did, and the way we won it is because we were down 17-0, we come back, we win, and that was kind of like one of the obviously great, and we celebrated it, and I'm still happy we did. But it's like one of the worst things that we could have done as fans, or that team could have done as for us fans, because now we're like, oh, all right, forget the rebuild, we're here. You know what I mean? We're ready to roll. Not the case. I think that's been pretty evident the last couple of weeks. That we're still quite a ways away, which that's fine again. But we got to just keep seeing progress. As long as we keep seeing progress, I think we'll be good. One thing I did want to touch on, obviously Ron Rivera, he's wearing the Rivera Strong shirt yesterday. He's going through a big, tough battle right now with cancer. He's doing his chemo treatments at halftime, things like that. And he comes out at halftime, and he's sitting over on the bench the rest of the second half. Now, I want to pose this question to you, because I kind of know how I feel about it. And like I said, I can't tip my hat more to that to Ron Rivera, the battle he's going through. I can't imagine him and his family. But just as far as because football is a very rah sport, right? Like, you got to get juiced up, you got to get amped up, you got to get yourself going in order to go out there and run into another human being as fast as you can. But as far as like a team, seeing your coach sit over on the bench and not being on the front lines, on the sidelines, making the calls, things like that, like you normally would. I feel like for me, it would almost feel like either A, he's disinterested, or B, he's not really super locked into it, or doesn't care. And I know that's obviously not the case. This dude's getting cancer treatments at halftime, so he can be there. But just as far as the optics go, that's kind of how I felt, and how it could be perceived from some of the other players too. So I just want to get your thoughts on that, and whether you agree or disagree.
Well, it's a lot of things pop into my mind. A lot of instances, because I've used things like this as examples in the past when I work, as I work with kids and have to find different ways to motivate kids and different ways to create awareness within them. And it hits me a couple of ways. I remember, just for example, this is just quick. Hopefully, I don't get too far away with this, but at school, after we have dismissal, let's say there's benches the kids sit on waiting for dismissal, and after all the kids are leaving, there's a few kids left. It's up to the last kids to help put those benches away, And obviously, kids don't like to do stuff. They try to avoid the work. But there's this one kid we had that had a disability before, and that would be, and they just didn't want to be any different. You know what I mean? They wanted to be out there, and no matter what, they wanted to help. And one time I pulled a kid aside that was being that way. It's kind of like look at that person over there. They can't do this. They can't carry these benches, and they don't have the strength or whatever to do that right now. But they're still out here trying to do the best they can. And how does that make you feel, knowing that you have all your full capabilities right now, and you're choosing not to use them? And it made the kid almost. I almost went too far. Where I almost made the kid want to feel terrible about himself, want to make him cry. But it's true. You see a guy like that is literally fighting for his life. You know what I mean? Like, cancer is. We all know someone that's suffered or gone through some kind of treatment like that. And it's taken lives away. His, not to know how serious his is or how serious his is going to be, but regardless of that, he is out there on the field. He is out there because he believes in this team and he supports these young guys. And hey, I'm sure no one would fault him if he would have said, hey, you know what? I got cancer. Jack Del Rio is going to be your coach. I'll come back when I'm strong enough. No one would have said, oh, what a wuss. No one would have came at him like that. But knowing that he has that, he's still willing to go out there, and you know what? I saw that same look that you saw, and it broke my heart because I felt bad for him. I felt bad because you know how much he has as being an ex-football player and being an ex-competitor. You know how much he has to be, I want to say, quote unquote, hurting for him to sit down like that on the bench, because he knows all these things we're talking about right now. He knows what the optics do. So him to do that, he must have really needed that time, and I'm sure the players realize that as well.
Yeah, I mean that's a fantastic point, something that I hadn't thought of, and that's why I wanted to pose a question to you. But yeah, I mean you're right. And this guy, he's been on sidelines for probably over half his life, and so I guess the fact that he is going over and taking a seat and kind of just like, he didn't look defeated, but he just kind of looked like worn out, out. And so I guess that's a good point of that's how bad it must be for him, and he's still trying to fight through it. So that, like I said, I'm glad I posed that question to you, because it did give me a different outlook on it, and did kind of change the way to think about it, because it was something I hadn't thought of that way. So good on you.
I'm just saying, like, it's
using your psychology and your psychology degree and your teacher skills on me right there. That was perfect.
Well, again, just bring it again. All you can never teach. I always tell my kids, you can never teach anybody anything. As much as people try to teach you stuff, all you can do is create awareness in others. If they choose to take that awareness and grow from it, that's what we label as teaching. But so all what he's trying to do with these young guys, obviously, is for anyone that might be thinking that way, is look, man, he's a competitor. He wants to win, and him being out there, period, shows how much he loves this sport.
No doubt, 100% agree, 100% agree. So yeah, I mean, he's definitely fighting out there, and so it goes without saying, we'll be sporting our Rivera Strong shirts here pretty soon. They're coming in the mail. So that'll be dope. Did you see those tie-dye hats? I think those are dope.
Oh my goodness! That's what I've been talking about since I saw them.
They're sick, huh?
They are sick. And the funny thing is, how all of us have the theories, our phones listen to us or whatever. We all have that, which I'm sure is pretty true. I think it has been proven it back, by the way. But all my Facebook timeline yesterday, that hat just kept popping up. The NFL shop, that hat. And then every game, it wasn't the Washington one, but every team was wearing their version of it, so it made you think of the Washington one. That hat is lit. That hat is super lit. So I don't know. I might justify buying it just because I know all the money goes to the early, what's it called, early catch?
Crucial catch.
I'm sorry, early catch. Crucial catch. Yeah, crucial catch. I know the NFL shop does not profit up that hat at all. All the money goes to crucial catch. So I might be able to justify that. To kind of join the cause and whatever and buy that hat. But you're right, that hat is lit.
Yeah, that hat is super dope. That's why, yeah. So, shoot. I mean, I don't want to be like matchy match. Maybe that'll become like our podcast uniform. A Rivera Strong shirt and the tie-dye hat.
There we go. That'll be our official gear. We'll suit up for our podcast each time. For those on Apple, I'm sorry you can't see. Go to YouTube and you'll see. We could be wearing them right now. You never know.
Exactly. You're missing out. But quick look around the division. Obviously, a lot of people were watching the Cowboys-Browns game. We were talking before we started recording. I was like, shoot, or maybe it was while we were already recording. I was like, man, I'd give Dak $45 million right now if he could come over and do the same thing with our offense that he's doing right now. I mean, you said he's on pace for 6,000 yards. He's thrown
6,700, 6,700, almost 7,000.
He's on pace for that, 6,700 yards. He's already thrown over 1,600 yards in the first two games. Now, granted, a lot of it is trying to come back, but still, the fact that we know the three weapons he has out there with, or I guess I shouldn't say out there. I mean, it's right in my backyard, with CD, Amari, and Michael Gallup. And then, Zeke's more than capable in that passing attack as well.
Tight end, what's his name, Schultz?
Yeah, Dalton Schultz. So, he's putting up some big numbers back to back, and he's done literally everything he can. It's just that defense is so terrible.
I heard the hottest take from Peter Schrager this morning on Good Morning Football. I mean, he usually doesn't go. He doesn't speak in absolutes. He's very, I think he's very subjective and objective when it comes to his analyzing. But he called that Dallas Cowboys defense the worst defense he has ever seen play football on Sundays in the history of Good Morning Madden.
Wow, that's quite the statement.
That's quite the statement. And coming from him, it means like he just cannot see how they can just give up continuously that amount of points, And it's true that when you have an offense, just like you said, with they can score points at will. It looks like they can score points at will against any team they've played this year. Seattle, Atlanta, Cleveland, and what was the first one they played against? The Falcons. They're a watermelon. People keep saying they're a watermelon kick away from being 0-4, but they have put up yards in an offense that sheesh. If our defense against them can stop that type of offense, we might be having something in there. But it's going to be a true test. But you're right, that Dallas, that offense is insane right now.
Absolutely, yeah. They so week 1 they only scored 17 points and lost 2017 to the Rams. But since then they've put up 40 points. 31 points, 38 points in the last 3 weeks. So, they're, like I said, they're scoring at will. And the unfortunate thing for them, fortunately for us, is that offense has to play almost a damn near perfect game in order to give themselves a chance, because that defense is giving them zero chance right now. So they fall, obviously, to the Browns. They fall to 1-3. The Eagles pull a rabbit out of their ass and beat the 49ers, which I did not see that coming. George Kittle puts up 183 yards and a touchdown. You think if he's putting up yards like that,
a yuck leap? Did you see that when he leaped?
Yeah, I saw that. I was watching that live, and I literally audibly gasped,
me too. That was me too. I yelled, "Oh my god!" That high pitch too.
Right, right on. Appreciate you being honest about that. But and then the Giants lose 17-9. It's gonna be tough going for them. Looking at their schedule, unless they sneak one away from us or the Eagles, I don't see a win.
The Eagles are walking into a meat grinder too the next 2 weeks. They play they play Pittsburgh and Baltimore back to back. So
so I don't see a win right now. Maybe the Bengals, depending on how the Bengals are playing. Let's see. It looks like around week 11 or 12 for the Giants. So they could be staring down the barrel of we could be looking down the barrel of a winless season in New York with both the Jets and the Giants, which would be wild if that happened. But we look around the league, look around the division. Still not anybody any good. The Eagles are now unfortunately in first place because of that stupid tie against the Bengals. Those dumbasses.
You know what I was saying this morning to my buddy who was the same guy I was talking to about the Giants actually. Just talking about how terrible our division was, basically. And it's like, when you win the NFC East, it's like being the toughest kid in kindergarten. It's like, it doesn't mean much in the real world. It doesn't mean much in the rest of the NFL, because you're going to lose your first wild card game and you're going to be done. So it's one of those things like, hey, we'll win the division. Maybe we'll get a nice little NFC 2020 division champion hat to add to our collection of meaningless things that we've done.
Meaningless division titles. Yep.
But it's unless we see some complete and utter breakdowns of all the other COVID breakouts throughout the NFL outside of our division, I don't see any of our teams taking home any Lombardis this year.
Yeah, probably not. One note I did have from that Eagles game is former. He technically was a former Redskin. Travis Fulgham scores a touchdown for them. He was on our practice squad for the longest time, but that's just who the Eagles always have on their active roster for wide receivers is former quarterbacks and practice squatters. But
people like Carson Wentz doesn't know at all. He's like, "Who's that guy out there?"
Yeah, exactly.
Get to know him later.
Right. Probably, why even? He probably thinks, why even bother? This guy's not going to be here in 2 weeks. It's going to be somebody else wearing a number 17 jersey they have to throw.
Exactly. Let's just start calling these receivers like wide receiver 1 to wide receiver 2. Just like, they don't get names; they just get numbers.
Like the old NCAA football games. That you just get wide receiver and then your jersey number. That's all you are.
Yep.
But that's all I got. We got our preview show coming out Friday. We got the Rams. It's going to be a tough game, that tough defense. Another big time test for our offense. I think our defense should bode pretty well against their offense.
Have you heard anything about Chase Young as far as him? Is he pacing to come back next week?
I don't know. So the last I heard was he was going to be out about 2 weeks. So this week and next week. So we'll see if that changes. I never really heard how serious the groin injury was. If it was just kind of a pull. Obviously, if it was a tear, we would have heard that for sure. So I guess it was just maybe a strain or a pull. I haven't heard anything definitive. I guess that'll probably come out Wednesday or Thursday. We'll see how he's practicing, or if he's practicing, to kind of know better about that. But he was definitely missed on the field. I think this week. That big long run that Lamar had, we didn't have Montez Sweat or Ryan Kerrigan on the field, and he burns us. Not saying that they would have had any effect on it because he ran it right up the middle of the defense, right up the gut, and those guys are attacking from the edges. But hey, you never know.
It was a perfect storm. That play was an anomaly. It was a perfect storm of everyone trying to make a play. It was.
He almost got caught too. He almost got caught. I wish we would have got we would have caught him like DK did last week.
Yeah. Exactly.
No. I mean, right before he was about to score.
Oh, when he put the ball up. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
These guys don't. You know, I forgot who said it after DK did it last week. He's like, you would have think after Leon Lett, or was it Leon Lett?
Yep.
Back in the Super Bowl, way back when, that people would have learned, I ain't doing that until I'm in the end zone. But no, we still see it every year. We still see guys doing it every year.
There was a dude in college this week. I want to say it was Middle Tennessee. It was Middle Tennessee or Kentucky. He tried to do the Tyreek deuces, and he got caught from behind. And 2 plays later, his team fumbles the ball, and they don't even get to score.
That's it. To me, that's bad, but it's even worse when they knock it through the end zone and you get the touchback. That's just,
right, exactly.
Like no points. Yeah,
double whammy.
Anyway, well, let's see what we get this next week, man. Come on, we gotta turn this around a little bit. Let's see some improvement.
Absolutely, 1,000%. So if you're listening to us on iTunes, make sure you are rating, subscribing. Make sure you set it to auto download. It's only 2 episodes a week. Short 30-minute episodes, your little commute to work or running errands, maybe a nice little jog. If you're on YouTube, so again, hit the subscription button, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell. Check us out on Twitter and on Facebook. You can find those below right here at Allies BEL. And keep tuning in, keep watching, keep commenting, all that good stuff. Keep interacting with us. We love it. We love to do this for you guys. But yeah, we'll have that preview show Friday afternoon, as always. Joe, you got anything before we head out?
All I gotta say is, a lot of us are calling for the head of Haskins right now. I feel like we're
pump the brakes.
Yeah, pump the brakes right now. Let's see what he does next week. You know what I mean? I think it's going to become week versus week type thing, and let's give him all the support that we give any other quarterback, and let's just see if we can get a win this week.
Absolutely, totally agree. One last quick point on that, because you said if he plays poorly this past week, that it might be Kyle Allen time, which I wouldn't disagree that it's Kyle Allen time for the rest of the game. Not that we have to commit to him long term. Let's just get Dwayne out of there, let Kyle get some reps, kind of recollect himself. Just because we commit to Kyle for half a game or whatever it might be, doesn't mean we got to commit to him for the rest of the season and Dwayne's done. So let's keep that in mind as well. We are rebuilding, trying to build something up here.
And not to mention it real quick, not to real quick on your real quick, but not to mention if even if we get Allen out there to get some reps, it looks good. That's just another trade piece we can have, down the road, so there's also a benefit in getting him some playing time in that regard anyway. So everybody pump your brakes.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see you guys Friday. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to y'all then.